making our way to Buc-ee Recreation Area, which is where we're staying for 2 nights while we go visit Charleston, South Carolina. Here we go. Our long weekend in South Carolina continues. The first part of the trip, we were in central South Carolina when we visited Poinsett State Park and Congaree National Park. We headed north a bit to check out the grand opening of the brand new Buc-ee's in Florence, South Carolina, which was really cool. Now we're making our way towards the coast. It's about 100 miles from Buc-ee's to our campground, so it's a nice, easy 2-hour drive. Buc-ee Recreation Area is just off the US 17 in the Francis Marion National Forest. The area overlooks the Intracoastal Waterway and the Salt Marsh. The campground has 14 RV sites priced at $28 a night. Pretty good deal. There are also 5 tent sites available for $20 a night. Right guys, so we're here early. It's 10 a.m. We came, no one was in our spot, so we went ahead and took it. Check-in time's at 12, but no one was stopping us. It was available, so we went ahead and set up camp. First impressions, pretty good. There's our site. It's a beautiful day here. You see right there is the water directly across the way from us, so location's good in that sense. And if you look right back on here, there's our table and the fire pit, and over yonder, bathhouse and bathroom directly behind us. All right, so here's the bathhouse. I'm getting ready to take a shower now. Before doing that, I went and scoped it out, and it'll work. It's not the cleanest, it's not the newest, but everything seems to be functional, and that's what matters. It's got 1 shower and 2 toilets, so it'd be good enough for us for a couple nights at least. But can't beat the proximity. There's our camper right over there. I'm not good at eyeballing distance, but I would think it's under 100 yards, maybe 50 yards, I think. Pretty close. I met the camp host and learned that she'd been away for a few days, which explained the condition of the bathrooms. Afterwards, they were clean the rest of the stay, so I don't want to give a bad impression about it. The bathrooms were fine. Actually, they were nice. After touring around the campground a little bit, we decided that we liked what we saw, and we were happy with our choice of staying there. Time to head down the road and go visit the sights of Charleston. It's about 30 miles and a 45-minute drive to get to Charleston from Buc-ee. That may be long to some people, but we drive a lot, so for us, it's not an issue. There are several of these stands selling sweetgrass baskets, which is a Gullah tradition. For me, that's a sign that we're getting close. This here is called the Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge. It's a pretty cool bridge that spans the Cooper River. It's actually fairly new. It first opened in 2005. Once we get to the other side, we'll be in the city. Alright, we've made it. First, we're going to go check out the visitor center. It's actually a really nice facility here at the Visitor Center. There are a lot of tours you can do in Charleston, including walking tours like ghost tours or history tours. There's also bus and buggy type tours. This screen's pretty cool. It tells you all the time and information about those tours. Like I said, this place is really nice. Well, we grabbed our maps and brochures and we headed out. So we decided not to do any tours or anything like that. Rather, we'll just do some free-form type visiting, checking out some of the popular sites. Some would say it's touristy, but you know what? We're tourists, so I don't know why that's a bad thing. Charleston is an old city, and I always love the vibe that I get in these old cities like Charleston or Savannah, New Orleans, St. Augustine. You know, there's a different kind of feeling and architecture and style that you just don't see in most places. Alright, so we're starting off down at the Battery, but before we cross the street to check that out, let's take a quick walk through the White Point Garden. This is a very nice public park. I think if I lived in this area, I'd come down here and hang out quite a bit. Now the Battery itself actually refers to the seawall, and why it's called the Battery is because it was just that. It was a Civil War coastal defense artillery battery. This plaque's pretty cool. It points out some of the various viewpoints. In the distance you can see Fort Moultrie and Fort Sumter. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but trust me, they're there. Some of these houses are just really nice. It's like Christ. I want to mention that in late May, the weather here in Charleston is just absolutely phenomenal. It's a great time to visit. And this famous row of houses is called Rainbow Row. Would have looked a lot cooler if McCorkledale hadn't been there. And here's the popular Waterfront Park with the famous fountain with the pineapple, the symbol of hospitality. Oh yeah. This is the Waterfront Park Pier with good views out to the water and with a different kind of smell. And once more, the camera fails to do justice. It's much better in person. The Charleston City Market's another popular destination. It's a good place to do shopping where there are a lot of cool items for sale. This market is very historic, having first been established in 1790. It spans 4 city blocks. Well, our parking meter had expired, so we decided to move on and go look for some new and different things to see. Of course, here's the Ravenel Bridge again, northbound this time. Now we've left the downtown Charleston area. We had fun down there today, saw some cool stuff. We may go back down there tomorrow, or we may do other stuff. I don't know. We'll see which way the wind blows, but right now we're heading to a place called Isle of Palm, or Isle of Palms. I'm not sure. Isle of Palm or Isle of Palms, one of the two. We're heading down there, gonna find some grub to eat and check that out. I'm often amazed by how quickly and drastically landscape and terrain can change. Alright, so Dawn set me straight. It actually is called Isle of Palms, and that's where we're headed. But in order to get there, we actually have to cut through a place called Sullivan's Island. And I didn't realize it. It's actually somewhere I've been before. You know, Dawn and I came here once, well, twice. We made 2 attempts to come here. One was unsuccessful. But one time we came here before and we visited Sullivan's Island, and I realized it because I spotted a lighthouse in the distance, and I remember when we saw it before, it was kind of an unusual type of lighthouse, so it stuck with me. And also the Fort Moultrie National Historic Site is on Sullivan's Island as well, so it's another cool place. I'd totally forgotten that we'd been to. I mean, I knew we'd seen those things. I just didn't remember Sullivan's Island was the name of the place. But anyways, it's called It's called Isle of Palms, and you got to go across Sullivan's Island to get there. But Island of Palms is where Isle of Palms is where we're going now. I realized that most of those words I just said made no sense. What I meant was, once Dawn and I attempted to make a spur-of-the-moment visit to Charleston. After driving 2 hours out of our way to get there, I missed a turn, got stuck on a bridge for 2 hours, and we said forget it, and didn't end up visiting that. But in a subsequent trip, we did come, and we did visit Sullivan's Island, but I'd forgotten about it until I saw things I recognized. There, that's what I meant to say. And here we are coming into Isle of Palms. Alright, so now we're on Isle of Palms. Gonna drive around this place and see what it's got, figure out where we want to eat. I noticed as we crossed the bridge getting over here that there's a pretty nice, kind of cool looking beach over there. Honestly, if the weather's gonna be like this tomorrow, this might be what we end up doing. It looked pretty appealing. Well, like I said, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but for now, let's get some food. Isle of Palms is basically what you'd expect from like a classic beach community, which is good in my book. So Coconut Joe's is where we decided to eat, mostly because we wanted that oceanfront experience. The food was decent, the service was alright, but the view was sweet. So we're back here relaxing at the Scamp. Looking forward to a pretty chill evening. Just gonna hang out, play some cards, and, you know, take it easy, get some rest. We're still liking the campground. Even though it's pretty open, everything's pretty well spaced out, so you feel like you got some kind of privacy. Alright, time to catch some Z's. It's a nice, easy start to the day. Luck was shining on us again because we had beautiful weather once more for the last day of our trip. Buc-ee Recreation Area is a cool spot. I learned that the Palmetto Trail actually starts here, or ends, depending on your perspective. There's a boat ramp and a fishing pier. Day use fees are $5. It's a hole. I mentioned before that the Intracoastal Waterway runs by here. ICW is an inland waterway running from Massachusetts all the way down to the southern tip of Florida. And here we are heading out with no real itinerary, just kind of winging it. There's another good example of poor planning on my part. So I did some research to see if there were any lighthouses in the local area close to where we're staying at the campground. And I learned about the Cape Romaine lighthouses, which are only about 10 miles away. So I said, cool, plugged in the GPS and started going. And sure enough, we dead-ended to a dirt road that was closed off. So I checked the map, doesn't seem like there's any other way to get there by road. Guess you need a boat to go check those out. So I guess we'll not be seeing those today. But that's alright, we'll keep moving down the road and looking for other stuff in this area. I don't think we're going to go into the Charleston downtown area today. I mean, we could end up there, who knows what's going to happen. But I think we're going to explore more of the area around our campground here. You could spend weeks here and really just scratch the surface. There's tons of stuff to do. But yeah, I'm not sure what's next, but we'll figure that out very soon. So it turns out the next thing we would do would be to go visit the small town of McClellanville, where fishing, shrimping, and oystering aren't just business, they're a way of life, or so they say. actually came here on the recommendation of our neighbor at the campground who told us there was a great restaurant here and that we'd like the houses and scenery. He was right on both counts. This is a really cool looking place, and I think what really gets me are the trees. These are some of the coolest trees that I've seen anywhere. I was appreciating them yesterday in Charleston, but it was really driving through the small town that I really grew to appreciate them. T.W. Graham is the name of the restaurant that we ate at. Our neighbor at the campground is a Charleston native, and he said this place has the best seafood around. You always take the locals' recommendation, and this place was in fact delicious. But some days are only open for lunch, so call ahead before you come to make sure they're open. About 10 miles up 17 from McClellanville is the Hampton Plantation State Historic Site, so we figured we'd go check that out. There's no fee to visit the site, so that's cool. The site is home to the remote final remnants of a colonial-era rice plantation. While the grounds are free, there's a $10 admission charge to tour the mansion. The tours are scheduled, and we'd missed the tour for that day, so we'd just be enjoying the grounds. There are a few walking trails. There are a lot of leaves on the ground, and it seemed like a place where there may be snakes, so we were on the lookout, but we didn't encounter any. The house was owned by Archibald Rutledge, who was the first poet laureate of South Carolina. Him and some of his family members are buried on the grounds. These are their grave sites. So George Washington, while president, took a tour of the South in 1791, and Hampton Plantation is one of the places where he visited. While he was there, the lady of the house asked him if he thought they should remove the tree to improve the view. He said nah, so they kept it, and they named it the Washington Oak after him. After leaving the plantation, we headed back to McClellanville and picked up some shrimp. It was $6.99 a pound, so that was a really great deal. We took them back to the campsite, boiled them up, ate them. They were delicious. And with that, our trip quietly came to an end. We settled into a nice easy night, got up the next morning, and made our way home. Thank you guys for watching. We do appreciate your viewing, and if you like this video at all, please give me the thumbs up. And think about hitting that subscribe button to follow along with us. As always, there's going to be plenty more to come because scamps like us, we were born to camp. Well, alright. Later.